Hello everybody, welcome back to 10 Minute Reviews. I'm Jason, bringing you today's episode. This fuzzy one right here is Freya. As always guys, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. We're a small family channel, just love to talk about books. Appreciate any support you guys might want to give us. Outside of that, just check down below for all the various links to our Discord channel, our Patreon, thank you so much, and books that we review in the videos, pretty much anything we can think of. We're going to have the links down below. So today is another one of our author feature videos, and this is from fantasy authors that you may not have heard of. That video that I had shot talking about 5 fantasy authors, suggestion from one of our viewers that I feature each individual author in their own videos. Going to be shorter videos, but today I want to talk about Michael Moorcock. Now this is one that a lot of the younger readers out there will not have heard of, especially for fantasy. That was his main focus, his main genre, although he did write books that timeline-wise would have occurred in World War II, would have occurred in modern day, would have even occurred in the future. But for the most part, he wrote pretty much your swords and sorcery-ish type of fantasy, and that was some of his best work. Now, what Moorcock did was he tried to write, and he may have been one of the early progenitors of this, the multiverse type of concept. Now, his books generally were individual, maybe series perhaps, but it wasn't this big interconnected thing, even though technically it was connected. Every so often he'd have mashups of them, but the primary thing that was kind of the underpinning of his books and his storyline is the concept of the eternal warrior. Basically, Moorcock's various worlds, whatever timeline they occurred in, whatever planet they had occurred on, galaxy, universe, kingdom, empire, whatever it may be, there were primarily 3 main forces: chaos, law, and then balance. And balance was there to try and maintain a balance between chaos and law. When one got too strong, then balance would generally create something. The eternal warriors would generally be reborn in some way, shape, or form to try and bring the balance back between the 2 major forces. Oftentimes these eternal warriors, they may not necessarily have been descendants of each other. They usually shared a name or initials or some sort of connection, and occasionally they would appear together. Theoretically, they could not exist at the same time, multiple versions of them within the laws of chaos, law, and balance. But I believe he did have one book or series where a few of them did come together, some of the more well-known ones. My favorite one was Elric of Melniboné, I believe it was, and he appeared in this trilogy. I'll try and attach it if I can find it. I got to remember the trilogy, but it's actually all 3 books can be found in one omnibus, and they're really, really, really awesome. I cannot remember the names of them now, but again, I'll try and put it in the links. Now, one thing with Michael Moorcock in his books, I would almost qualify his writing style as borderline grimdark. They can be very, very dark. In some instances, they could just be almost LSD fever dream weird, especially with this multiverse and some of these gods or demigods and their abilities and their powers, and the eternal warrior, the eternal champion that is there to defeat them, to kill them, or just to go through these trials and tribulations. And Elric of Melniboné ends up losing a hand, losing an eye, stealing a hand from one god, stealing an eye from another god, eventually having to kill said gods. It's interesting, and again, dark. A lot of Michael Moorcock stuff, very, very, very grimdark, and I won't say tough to follow, but you definitely, there's some weirdness going on. There's some odd stuff going on there, but overall, absolutely fantastic. Now, these books started in the 50s or 60s, and he was still writing them in the 80s. and again, they were all still semi-connected, at least as far as the Eternal Warrior goes. But a lot of his early stuff is what he is so well known for, and so almost legendary within the fantasy community for. If you are one of the younger fantasy readers, or actually even if you're my age, there's a good chance you hadn't heard of Michael Moorcock, you should check him out. If you like fantasy, you should check him out. Just read one of his books and see if it grips you, because they're, again, very fascinating, very, very interesting. And if you're a fantasy fan, like I said, he's kind of a progenitor of a lot of things within the genre. So check him out. Check out Michael Moorcock. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We will catch you guys next time. Bye now.